My life is good. I write was hood. I might get to it. Not out the woods, so bro, I got to do it. Be a monster. That's why my mantra.
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. It's your boy MagMongoSlade. So let's talk about New Japan Dominion. Now, I didn't watch the whole show. I just watched the top 3 matches because that's all I was interested in. Watching the entire New Japan show, I just do not have the time or the energy. So I'm just going to check in and check out with New Japan. And I checked out the moment I heard Will Ospreay was the champion. I was like, you've given me a reason not to watch it. And, but, you know, now he's not the champion anymore. And somebody that actually like is the champion, even though I do have some problems with that. But we'll get there in a moment. The first match that I watched was El Desperado defeating Yo to retain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Despite the fact that Desperado won the title in February, this is his first title defense. New Japan has been having real trouble with the COVID thing. Yeah, a lot of the shutdowns have been getting rid of some of the shows, and just been a lot going on. So this was his first real chance to defend the title, and I think he did a good job. Now, Yo isn't my favorite member of Roppongi 3K, and Yo is an IWGP Junior Tag Team Champion, and they said Sho is the Junior Tag Team. Like, that's the guy right there, man. Like, Sho is the one. I don't know how many times I have to keep saying this. Like, that's kind of why I stopped watching New Japan. It's like they were doing well at Sho, and then he just ended up back in the fucking tag team. It was like, man, this sucks. But Yo was good here. You know, he was very interesting as far as an opponent. Yes, you got to get Despy some wins. So having him beat Yo is cool. They attacked Yo's knee, his surgically repaired knee. And it was a really cool spot where Desperado used an empty bucket. He threw a bucket in the ring. The referee removes the bucket. And while his back is turned, Desperado hits Yo in the knee with a chair. I thought that was pretty sweet. There was the finish. I don't know what Desperado's finish is called. But he ended up in an Undertaker tomb, like a, Angel's Wings, which is the old Christopher Daniels finish. And he pinned him, Undertaker style. Got the straight up 3 count. Very solid match. I had fun with it. It's fun to just be able to sit back and watch like straight up wrestling sometimes. And this is good stuff. It's a good palate cleanser from, watching AEW and watching Raw and Impact and shit. After the match, Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo came out to say that they were going to win the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championships. They're still Bullet Club. They're still doing Bullet Club stuff. It's still a Bullet Club. For Christ's sake, it's still a Bullet Club. And El Phantasmo was going to challenge El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, but Taiji Ishimori snatched the microphone and challenged him first, and says that El Desperado jumped the line and that he should have been the champion after Hiromu got injured, because Hiromu is always injured now. And, El Desperado has something that he wants. And El Desperado basically says, okay, do it. Whatever you say, boss, let's get it. And I'm interested in that. If El Desperado and Taiji Ishimori are going to wrestle, I may watch it. I may have fun with that. The second match that I watched was Jeff Cobb versus Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi was my favorite wrestler in New Japan, maybe like a year and a half ago. And they kept fucking him over. And I was just kind of like, you know what? Him and Sonata. I was just kind of like, you know what? I'm not going to put myself through this. I'm that invested in New Japan that I'm just going to be like, making a big deal out of this. And then they gave them both belts. I did watch those matches on Wrestle Kingdom, even though that god-awful 50-minute match, I mean, it's a crime against nature for a match to be that fucking long. Anyway, I'm not saying that, the match was terrible. I shouldn't have put it that way. I shouldn't have phrased it that way. But the match was too fucking long. If you can't tell your story in 30 minutes or less, I just don't understand it. There had to be a reason for the match to be above 30 minutes. Iron Man match, okay. But just regular one fall match and it's 46 minutes or some shit. Like, come on, dog. Go to hell. Anyway, this match was very good. Jeff Cobb is like a brown-skinned Steiner brother. He's really good with suplexes, physical force, You know, they told us simple story that if you was to look at the two guys, that's a story they told. The story of Cobb's strength and physicality, the speed, technique, and never say die attitude of Kota Ibushi. Really fun match. The pizza toss segment where you know, Cobb spun Ibushi in the air and they called it a F1000. Or, you know, I wrote down pizza toss because that's really what, you know, when they said it, I was like, that's exactly what it looks like. But that was pretty sweet, man. Ibushi took some really good bumps in this match. He didn't take any crazy, oh my God, his neck bumps, which I really hate. But he sold that Kabagoye, which is the Jeff Cobb version of the knee strike. He sold that joint like a sniper rifle to the temple. It was an excellent sell. And that's really what I love about Ibushi. See, he's, you know, he's muscular enough to be believable, but he's small enough that he knows that he's got to sell, and he's good at that. And the finish was kind of weird because the finish came with Cobb snatching Ibushi from the mat. And it looked like when he snatched him up, Ibushi kneed him in the face, but it also looked like a botch where he was supposed to catch him and he didn't. So I'm not sure what happened. The commentary team is the one who put the idea that, you know, when he snatched him up, he kneed him in the face, that he had done it on purpose, and not it was a botch and they just tumbled over. But however it went, from there it was a Kamagoye straight to the chin, and Jeff Cobb stays down. Jeff Cobb falls to Kota Ibushi, and this match was fun too. You know, I enjoyed this. I enjoy most Ibushi matches that are not, you know, 100 minutes. So I just do. You know, he's a fantastic performer. Jeff Cobb is a guy usually I could take or leave. You know, he was Matana and Lucha Underground, and that gimmick, I lived for that gimmick until they started jobbing him out to like Sexy Star and stuff, which, you know, it killed the company. You know, I couldn't tell you too many people who kept watching Lucha Underground. Hansa got beat by Sexy Star, you know, but Cobb he reminds me a lot of a Steiner brother. He reminds me a lot of Taz. He's very thick in the upper body. He's like a mixture of Taz and Rhino, you know, and that's not a bad thing. You know, he just kind of needs a personality. You know, him just hanging out with Will Ospreay, who also has no personality, and Great O'Khan, who also has no personality. I just don't see that as a winning prospect to me. But New Japan kind of likes their gaijin to be as plain as possible. So the main event, Shingo Takagi wins the IWGP World Heavyweight title over Kazuchika Okada. So this match, obviously, Okada can work his ass off. I'm not the hugest fan of Okada, but I'm not going to lie and say that Okada is a bad worker. I don't think he's the best in the world, like everyone claims, but he's not anywhere near bad, you know. And Shingo, the thing about Shingo that's very attractive to me is that he's very fucking aggressive, and there is so much power in what he does. You know, there was I think it was John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL, who said there's a difference between a clothesline and a lariat. He's like, you run into a clothesline, and he says a lariat runs into you. And when you look at that, how Shingo throws the pumping bomber and the lariats that he does, with the force that he hits these people with these clotheslines, man, or these lariats, they're lariats. Them joints fire. Like, I don't like his finishers, like the Made in Japan and the other move that he does where he kind of picks you up and then tucks you under his legs. It's like, I don't need all that. He really should just be able to beat somebody with a running lariat, because them joints are violent. You know, he puts so much oomph on it. There's so much power behind it. It's like a freight train, you know. And Shingo is like, he's so good. Now, the money clip. One of the reasons why I was kind of like, I'm watching New Japan again. I hate the money clip. It is still the most unover submission move I've ever seen. I've never seen a top guy have a move that he's won matches with that is less over than Kazuchika Okada's money clip. It is so whack. To double back to Shingo's lariats, they are the best in the business. Legit. I can't think of anybody right off the top of my head right now that if I was to see him run side by side with them with a lariat in any predicament, that I would say is better. His form is great, but like I said, what really brings it is the force. When he reversed the Rainmaker into the Pumping Bomber, that shit was raw, and I was like, oof, yes, that was tremendous. And the commentary team was a little off here. I think that they was out of sync, so they were reacting to things after it happened in a weird way. But Shingo Takagi wins the match with Made in Japan, which he did on the floor. The second one, he did it in the ring. I like the fighting spirit spot that they did between the two of them. Well, I'll tell you what I didn't like. I didn't like Shingo Takagi's back and forth forearms where he go boom boom with both forearms. Like that looked weak. But I did like when they did a spot where they focused on Okada's fist as he tightened his hand up. Like that's good cinematography. That's the one thing that New Japan truly does when they film pro wrestling. They make sure not to miss the subtleties, facial expressions. They things like tightening up the fist to show your fighting spirit. The face. They don't forget that kind of stuff. Sometimes companies get too cute with the camera, and and of course the constant cuts. But this match rocked. This match was very good, and I enjoyed the fuck out of it. So after so Shingo Takagi is the third IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and this is the first match I've watched of this new title. The new title has a new lineage, so the first champion is Kota Ibushi, the second champion is Will Ospreay, and the third champion is Shingo Takagi. Will Ospreay, I think, has a neck injury and had to abdicate the title. After the match, Shingo Takagi called out Kota Ibushi, and they will be having a big match, and I will definitely be looking forward to that. I may actually watch New Japan to watch that, or I'll just catch it like I caught these and just watch the main events. But I don't think I ever talked about how I feel about them fusing the titles together. And to be quite honest, I think it was inevitable. I don't think that New Japan's booking has been very off kilter due to the pandemic. They have introduced like 3 new titles since the pandemic started. They got the New Japan Strong Belt because all these guys are trapped in the United States. They need something to fight for. They just don't want to take the belt off of Moxley. They created that silly King of New Japan thing that they've got going on, where it sounds stupid, and I don't want no part of it. I think I probably saw one match that involved that stupid thing, and I don't pay that no attention. So they've been doing a lot of weird decisions. Now, when it comes to Shingo being champion, as much as I like Shingo, a year or two ago, there were guys who were far more over than Shingo. Like Sonata was like right there. He was right on the cusp. But they decided to push Evil, which I didn't dislike the Evil. I actually liked the Evil storyline of Evil, the storyline of Evil winning the title. I know a lot of people hated Evil because they say he didn't deserve to be in that spot, but that's actually part of the logic, People don't understand sometimes you not deserving the spot is partly why you get the spot, That's part of the story. But, they gave the spot to Evil, and then they went back to the old faithfuls with Naito and Ibushi. And then they decided to take some risks. So after they fused the belts, it was kind of like, fuck it, we don't care anymore. And instead of, maybe looping Sonata in around this point and having him and Shingo fight for the belt, like I would have been on top of that if it was Shingo and Sonata. They went with Okada, because I guess they needed to draw the house. And Shingo gets the belt before Sonata does. And I was just kind of thinking like, man, I remember seeing them shows, watching these shows where Sonata had the full crowd in the palm of his fucking hand. Especially for like the New Japan Cup and stuff like that, man. Like he had the crowd in the palm of his hand. And now I don't even know where he is on the card. I think he was in a tag team match, wasn't he? So I don't know. I don't know what decisions that they're using, like how they're making these decisions. But Shingo is not a bad choice. I know a lot of people was going for Ishii, but Ishii sucks. I know Ishii, he's such a good worker. And like the guy's got the charisma of wet paint. He's awful, awful. But Shingo is great. He's got the final boss feel to him. He's a legit powerful guy. I love him. This was good shit. And watching 3 New Japan matches was a good palate cleanser for me to watch, most other wrestling. So I did what I could on New Japan. So it's kind of a bonus. All right. Thank you guys. And I'll talk to you guys later.